All right, guys, next big principle to talk about is the body is self-healing. Now, this is not what they're talking about in society. They try to tell us a headache is the result of a Tylenol deficiency. However, we know that's not true. And just to be clear, I'm not against pharmaceuticals. I am against pharmaceuticals first or pharmaceuticals only. I think you should do other things prior to and alongside. But if a severe diabetic doesn't get insulin, it's not going to end well. So I know that there are certainly times where pharmaceuticals are imperative. I would be willing to say 99% of the time they're not. So thyroid medication is another one. But we're not going to go down there. The general idea is the body is self-healing. If you're out camping or mountain biking, whatever, and you cut yourself, well, you don't have to think, how am I going to heal my finger? You don't have to think, how do I form a platelet? How many platelets do I need? Where do I need to form them? How am I going to get them and get them to my hand or my finger to repair the area? How long do they need to stay there? What else needs to happen? You don't have to do any of that. You know why? Because your nervous system does all that for you. So our nervous system is the master system. Even the nervous system controls the heart. So the heart's obviously important. Every organ is, but the nervous system is the top dog. So here's how the body works. Is we've got these 6 steps, and I guess you can't see my cursor. Sorry about that. But the first step is brain. The brain communicates to the body, to the organs, to the tissues, and to the cells. And as long as that communication has 5 bars, like on your phone, as long as you have 5 bars and a full signal, then you're in a state of health because things function well. So as long as the brain senses and communicates and everybody hears correctly and responds correctly, that is health. That's a state of function. Well, you're in a state of ease or harmony, and everybody's on the same page. So insulin binds, and then the response happens. So everybody should be in a state of harmony, and then that's health. Health is the natural state of the body. So as long as we have good communication from our brain to our tissues, we will be in a state of health. But then you'll also feel good. And then let me show you the other side of this coin. Is yes, the body is still self-healing, but now I put an X between brain and body because now there's interference. Maybe it's a deadline at work and you're really stressed. Maybe it's a sickness or the loss of a loved one and you're mentally just not doing well. Maybe it's a chemical interference. Maybe it's structural. There was a trauma, an accident, a sports injury, whatever. All of these things, physical, chemical, emotional, mental, spiritual, they all can cause interference with the function of the nervous system. And now instead of talking with 5 bars to your cells, your brain has 1 bar. So the cell may hear it, it may not hear it. If it hears it, can it even make out what the signal is? So there's all kinds of things that interfere with it. But just know that if interference is there, even in small amounts, it's a bad thing. Because you cannot be in a maximum state of health, fully expressing your health, while you have physical, chemical, emotional, spiritual interference. So brain has to be able to communicate to the body. If not, now we're not in a state of function, it's malfunction. Now things should be happening, but they're not because we're talking with 1 bar instead of with 5 bars and the cells are confused. So now we're in malfunction. Well, that goes on and it slowly grows. Then you're in a state of dis-ease. And we say dis-ease leads to disease. They're different, similar, but dis-ease is almost like disharmony. And I always use the analogy of an orchestra. And the orchestra, they're playing the same song, but each group of instruments is staggered by 3 seconds so that when you hear it, it sounds like a bunch of noise and you can't make out, like, yes, there's stuff happening, but I don't know what that is. And then if you put everybody on the same time again and they're not staggered by 3 seconds, then you can recognize, oh, that's what they're playing. And so that's what's happening in our body is it turns into a whole bunch of white noise and everybody gets confused. Hormones and neurotransmitters are the main communicators, vitamins as well. But just know brain can't communicate to body, malfunction, dis-ease, and then it leads to disease or ill health. And then now we feel bad. So if you want to feel good, you could take a shot of morphine, or there's many other street pharmaceuticals, if you will, that will help you feel better and block the pain to an extent. But if you don't restore and remove the interference, if you don't restore the communication of the brain and nervous system to the body, then it's whack-a-mole in a sense where you're going to suppress one symptom and then another symptom is going to come up, and then you're going to suppress that symptom and then it's going to be another symptom because you didn't address the underlying root cause, which is interference. So we've got to get the interference out. That is always step one. The body is self-healing. There are limitations of matter. Sometimes there is a point of no return where we have permanent damage. But generally speaking, a headache is not a Tylenol deficiency. Diabetes is not a metformin deficiency. COVID is not a vaccine deficiency. So we've got to still follow principles of health to support and make it sustainable long term. So I hope this makes sense to you guys, and I'll see you at the next one.